guys, how are you doing tonight? How you feeling? Okay,
Good.
just you.
Wonderful.
What about the other people?
It's
You
so-so.
guys? So. Okay. I want to hear your voice like even more. Hey guys, how are you feeling tonight?
They're still shy, I guess. They're shy.
Okay,
No shy,
Fine, thank
please.
you.
Okay, good. Well, actually, I was not going to start the show until you answer my question. Okay, nobody's answering.
I'm already answering.
That's demanding.
Oh yeah, okay. I know. Okay, so I'm so glad and I'm hoping that you guys are doing fine, doing well today. And of course, we're gonna have some fun tonight. And as usual, we're gonna have like a very special guest, which I'm gonna tell you who that is later. Okay? Okay, now let's. Okay, cool. Thank you. Okay, now I would like to share some information about Cilacs UE. So, okay, let me share the screen. Okay, wait a moment. Okay, Masadit, can you please help me with that? I couldn't find the picture that I have downloaded.
Okay, sure.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so Cilacs anniversary is around the corner. So Cilacs Milad, we have very special offers for you guys. So it's a discount for our regular classes and also our 1 week programs. Okay, and the discount is crazy, it's insane. It's up to 40%. Okay, you guys, 40% discount for the programs, the classes, the courses at Cilacs UE. And you can apply the discount for our regular classes and 1 week program. Okay, wow. And it's only on March 21st and March 22nd only, you guys. So it's so limited and you guys have to give it a shot. You have to try it out. Okay, so yeah. The special price starts from 120K, 120,000 for, oh my God, like a very worth it, very amazing class. So you just can get it from 120K. Okay, wow, it's crazy, it's like a huge deal that, we're gonna have like 40% discount for regular classes and also the 1 week programs. And if you are curious about it and you want to find out more about the information, you can contact our customer service. It is on 0857 4365 0224. Or if you can't catch that, you can check out our website and you can see our number on the website. Okay. So that's all the information about the Cilacs Milad, okay, the anniversary of Cilacs UE, and we're gonna have like up to 40% discount. Okay. Okay, next. Well, okay, after the info session, I feel like, you guys have to meet our solid team behind the scenes. So I would like to introduce our very amazing team. Okay, first of all, we have our media handler, Mr. Adit. Say hi, Mr. Adit.
Hi, everyone. Have a nice class. Good to see you
Yay!
all.
Yes, thank you. And then we have our technical co-host, Mr. Fahrur. Are you there?
Hi everyone.
Ooh, who that is?
Enjoy.
Okay, thank you. And then we have some facilitators. Okay, first of all, we have Mr. Cahyo. Hello, Mr. Cahya. Are
Hi
you there?
everyone, hi everyone, hi everyone. I'll be seeing you in the first group, I think. Yeah, see you there. Hi.
Okay, thank you. A little bit blurry, but it's okay. And then we have, oh, the one and only Mrs. Tinny.
Hi, everyone. It's very nice to see you here. We're going to have a very wonderful chit chat in the room 3.
Okay, thank you. And then we have Miss Winda. Miss Winda, are you there? Are you using autotune? Miss Winda? Okay, thank you, Miss Winda. And then we have Miss Amalia.
Hello, hi everyone. So good to see you and let's have fun tonight. Yay!
Okay, thank you. And then the last but not the least is Miss Gangas.
Hi everyone, I'll see you in room 4.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that's, our solid team that you guys have to meet earlier, okay? So now before we get into the main agenda, so let's give your best poses and let's take a few pictures together. Okay, Mas Adit, and maybe Mas Adit has got something to say.
Sorry, Yuga.
Yes, okay. Let's take a few pictures.
Okay. Okay, everyone. Before we take the pictures, as Mr. Yuga previously said that next week is our anniversary or Cilacs Milad. So regarding to this event, we would like to take some footage from this class. So in this session, I would like to ask you to do the yell, okay? And the yell is like this. When I say Cilacs UI, so you all guys, please say langkah mendunia and show your finger with a letter C symbol like this, okay? Okay, I repeat it. When I say Cilacs UI, then you say langkah mendunia, okay? Got it?
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we
that's very simple.
unmute all. Unmute
Okay.
first this time.
Okay, yeah. So please turn on your camera and also your microphone because we need to capture your voice, guys. Okay, everyone ready? Please unmute your microphone and turn on your camera. Okay, I think we are ready right now. We'll start it now. Cilacs UI.
Langkah
mendunia.
Okay, once again, okay. Okay, once again for backup, okay. Cilacs UI.
Langkah
mendunia.
Yeah, okay, great. Thank you, everyone. And hold your finger like this. And now I will start to take the picture. We have 2 pages here. I will start from the first page. Wait. Okay. The first page is now. Okay, I will save this. Wait, hold. And now the second one. 3, 2, 1. Okay, that's all. Thank you very much, everyone. And I will giving back the time to Mr. Yuga. Terima kasih. Thank you, Mr. Yuga.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Adit, for taking our pictures. And also, now let's get into the main presentation. So, like what I said before, we have a very special guest. And you know what? He's an amazing professional English lecturer at the Department of Relations, UEE, and a polyglot. And it is my great delight to introduce our special guest tonight. So, please welcome and give it up for Mr. Mohamad Rezky Utama. Yay!
Hello, Yoga. Can I correct a little bit? Introduction. So I'm a lecturer and I don't teach English, but
Okay.
I'm a lecturer at Department of International Relations, Universitas Islam Indonesia.
Okay, sorry, Mr. Utama. That was like, what I have been told. So, yeah, sorry. Okay, you got 20 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good evening, everyone. How are you tonight?
Good.
Good evening.
Okay, hopefully everyone in this room in a good condition and always blessed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I saw some of my students here and I would like to say hi and greet them. Hello, welcome. So in this session, I'm invited to actually talk about what's the importance of learning foreign languages. Actually, this is for international communication. You need to know that international communication is not only, it's not only for work, it's not only for education, but it's also for fun sometimes. So my name is Mohamad Utama. Actually, you can call me Utama. My students usually call me Mas Uta because I think when you say "pa," it will have gap between students and the lecturer, but when you say "mas," it will be closer. So we can discuss everything. All right. So I want you to write down in the chat box. Are you learning a foreign language at the moment? And what are you learning? Perhaps you learn Spanish or Hebrew, Chinese, Hindi, or even English. That's what you are learning. Can I ask you to type whether are you learning a foreign language and what it is? So please, everyone, please just type what language are you learning at the moment? Okay, English. Oh, Spanish. Yes. Oh, Arabic and English. Oh, Korean, Turkish. Right. So I believe that the urge or perhaps the willingness to learn language actually firstly came to your interest. You can be interested because of the culture. You can be interested because of perhaps sometimes it's because of your work. It's something that you need to do with your work. So you need to learn the language, or you want to go to continue your education in certain countries. That's where actually you begin to learn a language of a certain country. Well, so first of all, it's very important to get to know what is your purpose on learning language. And we can actually start from there. So for example, for me, I'm currently learning Hebrew because actually my studies revolve around Israel and Israeli politics. But at the meantime, also, I still try to practice my Spanish and French with other people who speak it. So I will not lose the competence of the language. Later, I will talk about it, why I'm still practicing the language. But however, now I'm learning Hebrew, but that's basically for my work, because my research mainly about Middle East and Israel. Okay, so it's good for you when you're learning a foreign language. You know, by learning a new language, you actually open up a new door for yourself, the new door of knowledge. Because sometimes the way of thinking of one language will be different from another. Perhaps you learn Indonesian, and then after that, you try to learn Spanish. You will see that the way of thinking will be different. The understanding of reality also sometimes different. It's happened to me when I started learning Arabic. So you know, Arabic language is very beautiful, but yeah, grammatically a little bit complex than Indonesian. But I can say Arabic is beautiful, and if you are a Muslim, it's really beneficial for you to understand hadith mostly, because the Quranic Arabic is full of art, I can say. So it's not a day-to-day language. So it's very beneficial to learn Arabic. But yeah, you will have different way of thinking. So that's what I would like to point out in the beginning, that you need to know the purpose of learning language. So we talk about is why we will talk about why do we learn a language, and then how we learn it, and some benefit for speaking a foreign language. Okay, first you need to know what is your purpose. Sometimes your purpose is education. Sometimes your purpose is to work, and sometimes it's for fun. If it's for education, you need to make sure that you learned the academic version of the language. Sometimes when you try to learn a new language as a beginner, it's okay because it's just the beginning. But later, when you have already advanced around the level of B2, then it's where you need to start enrich your vocabularies with academic vocabularies, which is actually not easy, because for me, even though I speak Spanish, I still have to look at the dictionary for words whenever I read journals written in Spanish, because there would be some words that I don't recognize. So yeah, if it's for education, you need to maintain your I forget the word in English. Maintain your willingness to learn the language, because for education it will be a bit hard because you need to remember more vocabularies. Sometimes it can be the same, the meaning could be the same, but it has slightly different meanings. Some words can have a positive meaning, some words can have negative meanings. It's something that you need to pay attention. And if it's for work, I can say it's divided into two. If you want to work in the office, you write a letter and so on, you need to understand the formal form of the language. So after you start with the basic, you need to go with the formal one. But if you're trading, not trading as Indrakens, not trading as Forex trading, but trading, you open your own shop. And what you need is actually, you need to talk in the foreign language because you're trying to import some products. The more important for an Indonesian is actually how to communicate and how to deal with some agreements. Sometimes it doesn't need formal words. It just need understanding between you. And lastly is fun. So if you just learn a language for fun, just enjoy it. That's actually what I prefer. And sometimes I learn a language for fun, but in this case, sometimes I cannot be serious with the language. For example, I tried to learn Japanese. So it end up, it's easy for me to recognize kanji, but because I learned it through Duolingo. But then it's, sometimes I forget how to read it. Sometimes I forget what it means, but I remember how to read it. So it's because I take it for fun. But for education, actually, I have English. I learn English, and then I try to enrich my vocabularies even until today. It doesn't mean that I stop learning. I'm still learning academic English because there are more words for day-to-day conversations with academicians that we need to understand. So you need to set your purpose. And here is how to study a language. If it's a very new language for you, act like a baby. Sometimes when you act like a baby, like a baby, you don't know. So you receive a word, a new word to say something without translating it into your brain. So it happens when I learn Arabic. It's very funny because my teacher never, if I ask what does it mean, so he never reply with the translation of Indonesian word, but with an Arabic words that it's, he will explain that this actually is something that you use for this, use for that. Oh, okay, so you get the meaning, but through the language. So without translating it, because baby didn't really translate, and baby do it step by step. And baby also, learn grammar and vocabularies at the same time. So you're not learning the grammar first and then try to memorize the vocabulary. That would be useless. So use the vocabulary as long as you use the language by and getting used to its grammar. Learn step by step. Never memorize vocabularies as you did before. So I see that in Indonesia somehow when you went to school and you're required to memorize vocabulary, sometimes you are given a picture of a room, and then there are some things in the room, and you need to remember what is bed, what is chair, what is table, what is television. But you're not asked to use it in your daily conversational language. It's the last one is to practice. It's actually the most effective way to remember vocabulary. This is actually something that I also myself learned about it. So the vocabularies. Okay, so the book. Okay, yeah. Yes, I could if it's allowed by the committee. Okay, so by learning a language with practice, you will know words is used by context. So you're not remembering what it means just by translating it to Indonesian or translating it to English if the books is not available in Indonesian. But what you do is actually you try to use the word day by day, every single day. Sometimes today, if I use an app called Tandem. It's a really effective app to find somebody who learn your language and you learn their language. So you can do exchange. So sometimes I met with people from Latin America. I had a friend up until today, we still talk. So I talk in Spanish whenever I chat him, and then he chat back in English because he's learning English. So that's actually what's happened. So this app really make you meet with other people who actually learn your language. So it's really nice. So practice every day, find a friend to practice the language. It will be very beneficial. Okay, I know that there must be some obstacles that you will have when you learn a language. There will be pronunciation and then listening sometimes, grammar and vocabularies. I can notice here, if you want to enhance your speaking with your pronunciation, you need to listen more to sources that actually provide you with the good pronunciation. And then if you want to enhance your vocabularies by writing, what you need to do is actually you read more. So reading and writing, it will be coherence, and as listening and speaking. So you want to pronounce something better, you need to listen more. You want to write better words. Sometimes English is very inconsistent in spelling. So you need to know how to read it, and you need to know how to write it. And you need to know how to write it by reading English books, English journals, English sources. And when you want to speak more English, then you need to listen to English speaking materials. It can be so it can be preach, it can be seminar, it can be everything that you like to use. So this is actually how you enhance or maybe tackle some obstacles when you have obstacles in pronunciation, listening, grammar, or vocabularies. Okay, you guys just remind me about my time. Okay, the name of the app is Tandem, Tindem, for somebody who asked me. Okay, I will just make it quick. So the benefits, there are two benefits. The first one, have more skills. Of course, more job opportunities. It's very interesting because before I worked for UI I was studying for my master's degree. So before that, before I study, I used to apply for a position in one of the TV station here in Indonesia. And they require a person who speak more than English. They require a person who speak English, Spanish, and French to actually for the program acquisition position. And so I got interviewed, and unfortunately, because I'm taking a master's degree, they cannot take me, but they really want me to be in the position. So job opportunities will be there for you whenever you can speak more than English as international language. I think today in Indonesia, Mandarin increasingly become more popular, not only popular, but also important, because Indonesia is dealing with China, and China is really close with us. And then chances of increased understanding. So sometimes misunderstanding between culture happens because you don't speak their language. By learning a language, you will also learn the culture. When you learn the culture, then you can understand better how they think, how they act. So you can do business easier by that, by learning the language and culture. This happened to me actually when I learned Javanese, when I moved to Jogja. It made me be able to use the customs here. Whenever I need to talk with someone older, I need to talk with my boss, I need to talk with my colleagues, it will use different types of language, but that's actually norms and custom that you will learn when you learn a language. Last, of course, helping you during traveling. So when I was in Brussels, Belgium, and nobody speaks English whenever we ask. So like my friends just push me to the front to ask to the hotel receptionist about the location that we need to go, but I speak French. So then it's only me that can be guide in Brussels, because it's only me who ask directions and then points and maps where it is, because at that time Google Maps wasn't that popular. Okay, and then sorry, I think it's right. So benefit 2, of course, network. Speak in a person's native language goes to their heart. This is based on Nelson Mandela. And of course, new friends. It's very interesting. I met a Bulgarian person in Turkey. So he didn't speak English, and then I don't speak Bulgarian, but we speak Spanish. So we communicate in Spanish. So between two groups that I'm with my friends, Indonesians, and he was with his friends, Bulgarian. So we can communicate and coordinate some things between these two groups, and that make us friends. So it's very interesting experience to actually make friends because you speak another language. And of course, in Indonesia, you can go to some organizations such as Polyglot Indonesia. There are one in Jogja. You can actually just chat on the Instagram. And a new connection. Sometimes it's unexpected. Sometimes it's unexpected because you met someone and you speak the language and you create a connection. And then after that, after a few years, you still send, you still talk and you still send emails with this person. And it's very interesting experience. I think my time is running out, so I've just move faster. Benefit 3 is perhaps love. So to find a soulmate, and then sanctuary for ourselves. Sanctuary is where actually whenever you go to another place and you need to be you need to understand more where you are going. Perhaps you go to Spain and you speak Spanish, it will be better for you to do that. And a good community for us is, for example, when I speak Spanish, then I look for a Spanish speaking community. I used to live in Jakarta. In Jakarta, there are Dime Porqué and of course the Iberoamericana. So here in Jogja, I haven't met because due to the pandemic, but I met with some Latin American students in Jogja, and it's really nice to have a conversation with them and have a community that share the same interest with you. Okay, so because my time is running out, this is my perhaps the closing statement. I've started learning a new language. I know sometimes it's hard, and sometimes you learn a language because you need to, because it's your job requirements. But start learning a new one, because learning a new language will open up to a better, to another world that you are not exposed before. So I think that's my presentation. Thank you so much. I can give back to Yoga.
Okay, thank you so much, Mas Tama. That was a great presentation about, learning languages for international communication. That's awesome. Okay, let's move out to the next agenda, and that is FGD. Okay, you guys. So you can go to the FGD or like the breakout rooms that you guys have been assigned to. Okay, if you forget or you still don't know about your breakout room, you can check it out on your WhatsApp group and which group you belong to, okay? So you're gonna have like 40 minutes in FGD to discuss the topic with your facilitator, okay? So off you go to your breakout room. And I'll see you here in 40 minutes. Okay, everyone, please. Can you go? Okay, I think some of you are still here. So you can go to your breakout room and you will come back here in 40 minutes. Okay, I think Miss Hardianti, you can go to your breakout room from now on. Okay, so hi, Mas Tama.
Hello, Mas.
Hi, it's really nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's very nice to be invited to.
Yeah, I feel like, it's such an honor for me to talk to you right now because you are a polyglot and I've never talked to a polyglot, like I've never been in that kind of situation. So, yeah, it's really nice to meet you.
Oh, real nice to meet you. How long you've been in Jogja? Why I question you first?
Yeah, it's okay. It's like, a real conversation. I've been here for like since 2017. Yeah.
I see. So actually in Jogja, there is a community, Polyglot Indonesia, but chapter Jogja. Yeah, if
Mhm.
you're interested, you can look at their Instagram.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. But yes, I feel like I've been interested in learning other languages like, Korean and Thai, French, I studied French in college, but I never made it.
Yeah, French, I can say French is, if you can speak English, especially academic English or formal English, French will be easier because it feels like you don't really need to learn new words because you just find the words are very similar.
Mhm.
But the grammar perhaps would be your obstacle because it's not Germanic language, so it's not related with English.
Mhm.
But if you can speak Spanish and you can speak English, you can just
Wow.
right away, when there is a French text, you can just right away look at it and can understand what it is without learning French before.
Oh, wow, like there's relation between them.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
I heard you love, but no, I heard you learn Thai.
Oh no, I have been interested in learning Thai, but I haven't started yet.
It's a pretty challenging language to learn, I can say,
Yeah.
because it has tones, and then the writing system is also very complex.
Yeah. Yes, true. I feel like I just love like the rhythm, the kind of the tone of it. It's just like, very unique to me.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. And also I feel like, for people out there who don't know what a polyglot is, can you tell me more about it?
Okay, polyglot, I think it's from Greek, which means that many language. That's
Mm-hmm. Oh.
the literal meaning. And in this sense that it's actually for somebody who speak more than 5 language, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So how many languages can you speak?
Okay, so I speak Indonesian,
Mm-hmm.
both.
Of course.
Right, for formal writing, I can do it. And
Mm-hmm.
English, also up to the formal and academic level. I also speak my home language because I'm from, I was born in Jakarta and raised in Jakarta, so I speak Betawi. And
Mm-hmm.
this is a funny story because I used to think that I speak Indonesian, but when I moved to Bandung, then the language that I speak is not Indonesian. So because it's actually Betawi, many vocabularies people don't understand. And yeah, I speak Sundanese because I
of course.
my college here in Bandung for 4 years. And I speak Minangkabau because I'm originally a Minangkabau person. Minangkabau, but I can say that my Minangkabau is enough for a basic conversation. If there is a, in Minangkabau tradition, sometimes you come to this either it's a wedding ceremony when they use Minangkabau with more words that I couldn't recognize, but for a daily conversation, yeah, I can do it. Yeah, and then that's for the local language, and for international language, I speak Spanish and Arabic for a basic conversation, but Spanish actually is more because I'm also teaching Latin American studies, and that require me to read more about Latin America from Spanish journals and books. So that's why I think I can speak Spanish more than Arabic. And also I speak French, but like I said before, I speak French. It's enough for traveling. But for a formal context, I can still read French text and know what's actually inside the text. But about the French grammar, I think I'm still learning about it. So because French grammar is also difficult, even though it's related to Spanish, they have different rules, different spellings. And then I'm learning Hebrew. That's actually the language that I'm learning at the moment for my job, because Israel is my field of study. So actually, yeah, but if you ask me about Israeli politics and Israeli international relation, Israeli international relations, it's something that I can answer in academic forum. So yeah, that's why I think it's important for me to understand Hebrew, the language of Israel.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Like, I wish I could learn more than just like a language. Okay.
Start.
Yes, I haven't started yet. But if I have like, a push button, like, I can, what languages do I want to speak? It's like, it's going to be French, Spanish. Yeah. So yeah, I want to ask you about this actually, because you mentioned Latin American. So the Spanish is different from the Spanish in Spain. Is it correct?
Yes, it's true. Even the accent is different. So maybe because I'm pretty much exposed with Cuban culture when I was a kid, because my father loved Cuban music, Cuban artists. So, and also Cuban politics, Fidel Castro. So I'm exposed with Cuban Spanish, and that's really influenced my Spanish accents when I speak Spanish. And actually, even in Latin America, there are differences, different accents. So I can give you an example, like in my accent, if I want to say, okay, give me a sentence and then I will translate it to Spanish, and then I give you a different accent. So give me a sentence, just simple.
Okay. I want to grab some coffee.
Oh, okay. Quiero tomar.
Quiero tomar.
Right. So quiero means I want. Tomar is to drink. Basically, it's to drink, right? So it's to take, but it's to drink as well. Tomar. Usually we say un café, means a coffee. It's
okay.
I don't know, in Cuban Spanish, they say un café, and un cafecito is for coffee, but it's smaller. So it's cafecito, like a espresso shot, cafecito. And café is just a regular coffee. So I quiero tomar un café. So like you noticed in my, actually in my accent, the R at the end didn't really pronounce it much. So it's like quiero and then tomar un café. But in Latin America, mostly it's very clear. Like in Mexico, you will hear like quiero tomar un café. So it's just clear. And unfortunately, there's no differences that I can point out with Spain there on that sentence. So I give you another word.
Okay.
Okay. For example, okay. Okay. Your house is close, is very close to my house. Okay. So es tu casa es muy cerca de mi casa. Okay. Tu casa es muy cerca de mi casa. Okay. In Cuban Spanish, what I speak, I will say, tu casa es muy cerca de mi casa. So you can see that I don't really pronounce the R, like muy cerca. So it's not cerca, but it's cerca. But in, you know, in Latin American Spanish, like in Mexico, you pronounce everything. So it will be like tu casa es muy cerca de mi casa. Oh yeah, in Cuban Spanish, we don't pronounce S at the end of the word. So we don't say S, like tu casa es, but it's tu casa e, like tu casa es muy cerca de mi casa. But in Spanish in Spain, you will see that letter C can be read as th. So it's like an Arabic th word. So instead of say cerca, to say close, it's cerca. 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 Other thing, it's also, you can see the, what did you say? Que tú me dijiste, but in Spain, you will hear like, que tú me dijiste, so it's dijiste, more like ha sound, but in Cuba it would be ha sound, like ha, like Indonesian ha, but in Spain it'd be like ha. Yeah, those are some differences in accent. It's like English has accents, Spanish has accents.
Oh, but you know, there is a chance, like, you know, is it possible if they, like, the two people, like the other one is from Spain and the other one is from Latin America, so would they understand each other?
Yeah, perfectly. They still just understand each other.
Is it like, you know, American English and a British English, or?
Yeah, it's like American English and British English and New Zealand English.
Oh, so yeah, do you think like the differences are major between the two of the accents?
I can say it depends on the it depends on where the Spanish is from. Like, for example, if you talk with Chilean from Chile, you can imagine that their Spanish is like Australian English, so an English of Australia. So you will need time to recognize slangs and pronunciation. So it's the same thing with Chilean Spanish. You need time to understand their slangs and their pronunciation, because Chile is pretty isolated geographically. So yeah, that's why they quite deviant. It's like Australian English. So they're, yeah, you need time.
Yeah. And also there's like a few questions from the YouTube comments. The first one is from Mrs. Lisda Iswari. She said, "Oh my, Mr. Rezky's English just like a real native from English speaking country."
Okay. Should I comment on that or no?
It's like, it's up to you. Depends on you.
Actually, it doesn't mean that. So yeah, if I say that I've been speaking English since I was a kid, yes, but in the other hand, up to my I think up to my college years, perhaps I'm only good in pronunciation, but not in vocabulary. That's what I can say. So a major vocabulary input was in my bachelor's degree. That's what I can say. That's why when I start to read English books mostly. So yeah, that's just my comment. And thank you. I hope that's a compliment.
Yeah, you should take it as a compliment. And also another question from Miss Ria. She said, I have a question. Which foreign languages should we learn for international communication besides English?
Okay, I can say it's actually depend on your purpose. Okay, so for example, you work for a multinational company and actually it's based in Taiwan, for example. So you need to learn Mandarin Chinese and you need to learn the characters, traditional characters that actually used in Taiwan. Or perhaps your office, you work in Thailand. So I have a friend, she work in Thailand and she needs to learn Thai because she work in Thailand. So it's actually sometimes it's based on your purpose. What actually do you want to do? If it's regarding your job. If you are still a student, then you need to pay attention first to the languages that's used in the United Nations. But I will suggest that Mandarin Chinese, Arabic and Spanish would come to your head for the first time. It's because of the number of speakers and then the opportunities. You know, like few years ago, I see that in the food actually open recruitment for everyone who actually speak Arabic to be placed in Arab countries. And I also had a friend who is actually a doctor, but contracted by, I don't know, is that, I forget, either Wika or one of the construction company that actually built infrastructures in Algeria. So because he speaks Arabic, he's recruited as a doctor to be sent to Algeria. So yeah, those kind of opportunities is always there. But yeah, of course, if you're still a student, pay attention to the three, Mandarin, Chinese, Arabic, and Spanish. If you are already working, look at your work and what's actually you need to learn. If your company open another branch in Korea, for example, and you need to speak Korean, or you see that there is more opportunity for you, for your career, when you can speak Japanese, then it's actually something that you need to learn. So I think you need to be more pragmatic when you're already at work. But whenever you're in the college, I think you can learn everything. One of my friends, she learned Slovak. So it's never come to a people mind to speak Slovak. And when it comes to the selection of the foreign ministry, so she got accepted because she speaks Slovak, and like no other people speak Slovak. And Slovak language actually related with Czech and Polish. So you can still understand Czech and Polish at the same time. So yeah, sometimes when you are not working, you can't actually learn anything. But come to mind Arabic, Spanish, and Mandarin Chinese. And when you're already work, look at the more pragmatic way of your career, which one actually I need to improve.
Okay, so I hope, Ms. Riyad, that answers your question. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. So, Mr. Mastama, so which of the languages is the most difficult?
Okay, so actually you need to pay attention that difficult or not is actually based on your native language and language that you speak. So for Indonesian, Filipino will be easy.
Yes.
So I spent few weeks in the Philippines and I can already understand the sentence structure, grammar, and vocabulary. So because the way of thinking, the Filipino things and Indonesian things are the same. So even though the structure might be a little bit different because Filipino use the verb in the beginning of the sentence, but you can have the idea. So you can translate your idea with Indonesian affixes. Sometimes there are difference between mengajar and mengajarkan and mengajari. The difference. But in English, everything is teach. But in Filipino, is also the same. And the sentence structure would follow along. So it's actually depend on your first language. What is your first language? And the more the language is distant from your language, it will be harder. So for me, because I speak English and I speak Indonesian, for me the easiest language to and some Spanish, the easiest language that I can say is French, because I know English and Spanish, and when I see French text, I can understand it. And the hardest language that I've learned is Arabic and Russian. So it's Arabic mostly because of the sentence structure and a bit of complexity of the verbs that actually really hard, I can say. But it's actually not that hard because you can just use it as a daily conversational language. But the other one is Russian, because Russian has grammatical cases, which is really hard for me, because you need to memorize how the word changed based on its position in the sentence. So the words can be changed. Like, for example, Moscow is Moskwa, but sometimes you can see it's Moskwe, sometimes you see it's Moscow. So it depends on the grammatical cases. The other language that I've found difficult is Japanese, because of the sentence structure and the script. You need to memorize the kanji script, which actually logograms. So yeah, it's actually depends on the first language that you learn, and you can determine which language is easy and which language is hard.
Right. So we have talked about like the most difficult languages that you have ever learned. And now, what is the most difficult or like the hardest part of learning a language?
Okay. So it depends on the language. But for me, I think for other people, they will have different obstacles. For me, the hardest part is actually memorizing vocabularies. Understanding grammar for me is easier, but whenever I try to learn vocabularies, because sometimes I forgot what is this, what is that. That's what I said. When I try to learn Japanese with Duolingo, then I know the kanji, because they just give you the kanji in the first hand. And when I see the kanji, sometimes I forget how to read it, but the meaning. Sometimes I don't know the meaning, but I remember how to read it. So yeah, it's vocabulary is my challenge on learning language. That's why I think I'm considering to focus on the French language, because it feels like I don't really learn new words, because many English words. I think 2/3 of English vocabularies came from French, so it will be easier to you to understand French. But French is not the same language family as English, so you need to understand the grammar. But when you speak Spanish, so you know the sentence structure. So yeah, that's actually the hardest part of learning language for me is vocabulary. But I believe that there must be people who are struggling with grammar. And
Totally.
it's hard for them. But for them, it's easier to memorize vocabularies. So I think it's different from a person to other person. So for example, I learned Japanese. I can already write down the sentence structure, but it's hard for me to memorize the vocabulary. Yeah, sometimes it's just hard because in Japanese, because sometimes you have the same kanji for the same meaning, but it's different when it's actually your own brother, your other people's brother, and call your own brother. The kanji would be read differently. So yeah, that's the matter of vocabulary. For me, the hardest part is vocabulary, but for other people, perhaps grammar would be hard for them.
Yeah, totally. I would agree on that. Actually, for me, in my case, I feel like memorizing new words is actually a little bit harder for me because, especially in English, like we have a lot of, the same phrasal verbs, when you have different prepositions. So the meaning changes. So that's kind of like, it's hard for me to remember without any, without saying it, without practicing, the words that I have learned.
Right. And especially actually those phrasal verbs is a daily conversational thing.
Yeah.
Something that people always use. And many of academic words are actually French, and phrasal verbs came from like a native Germanic root. Yeah, so for example, I give you an example when you say, I want to get in, which means, yeah, it's something that you will hear every day with your friends. Oh, I want to get in. But when it's actually in the formal situation, you say, I would like to enter. Like, I would like to enter the room. That will sound more formal. And enter actually came from French, while get in or get into is a Germanic root.
Okay, yes. I think that, yeah, phrasal verb and memorizing vocabulary in general, I think it's hard, Okay, I feel like, since everybody is so unique and different, so how do we find our best ways of learning languages? You're still muted, Mas
Sorry.
Tama.
Yeah, I think I've already mentioned it in the presentation. Actually just act like a baby. So
Okay.
feel like the new language is entirely something new, and you just learn vocabularies by experiencing that. That will be better than memorizing vocabularies. That's what I see. And yeah, that's actually how I do it. So using an app called Tandem, and then watch Netflix series.
Yes.
That's a good thing whenever you learn. Watch a Netflix series. But if you learn English, for example, you learn English, you need to pay attention to watch a Netflix series about a daily life. Sometimes if you watch The Crown, for example, the English is too high. The vocabulary is too complex for you to understand. And there are many vocabularies that are not used in day-to-day English conversations.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Well, yeah, I do agree with the statement that act like a baby. Yes, I feel like because native speakers, they learn English not from a grammar first, right? So I feel like they would listen to what their parents said, right?
Right.
So, and then they imitate what the parents say. And then, yeah, that's how natural it is to learn English like a baby, you know? And then I don't know why, like at schools, I was taught in my case, actually, I was taught to learn this grammar and then memorize those new words. So I think that's not natural. That's not how we learn a language, right?
Right. For me personally, I have no problem by learning grammar as in a grammar book, but
Mhm.
I found like other people might be find it problematic.
Yes.
Actually, you just need to use it day to day. It's okay to be wrong.
Mhm.
Don't worry. Don't worry to be wrong because it's the
Mhm.
process of learning. Sometimes you use it's you misuse some words for some other meaning, but it's okay because it's the process of learning. Without that, you won't know whether you already correct or not. Especially you need friends. That's why you need friends. You need speaking partner that
Yes.
say that, oh, this actually incorrect. So I would like to mention how if it reverse when English speakers want to learn Indonesian.
Mhm.
Indonesian language also not compatible with English because our sentence structure is Austronesian. You can call it in the grammar as Austronesian alignment, which actually is not based on tenses
Mhm.
and the conjugation with personal pronouns,
Mhm.
but we set the verb with the situation. So whether your statement is actor triggered or object triggered,
Mhm.
and whether the verb is transitive or intransitive, and whether the transitive is focused on the direct object or indirect object. So I found this systematics of grammar is related with Filipino.
Mhm.
So it's easy for us to understand it.
Yes, totally. And also, yeah, you mentioned that you don't worry to make mistakes. Well, I feel like, in my experience, I feel like, a lot of people are afraid to make mistakes when it comes to learning new languages. So how do you cope with that? How we deal with that? And especially, when we are practicing English in public in front of a lot of people here in Indonesia, we get like, shamed. I mean, people
I know.
will, attack you.
Oh my God, I really know that.
Mhm.
I remember when I was at school, and because I've already speak like this since I was a kid, but again, my vocabulary, I can say, was very limited. So I've already speak like this with this accent, and because I'm in Jakarta, so
Mhm.
whenever I speak English, and they will say that, lo biasa aja bisa nggak sih bahasa Inggrisnya? So that
See?
the English word, but I don't care because that's how the people speak. So why
Yeah.
should I speak like you? I mean, why this language is actually not from Indonesia, it's from a foreign country.
Yes, actually, yeah. English shaming in our society is really brutal, I think, because especially me, like, I want to just improve. I just want to, like, talk to somebody with English, and then people will start looking at me like, there's something wrong.
Yeah, I experienced that as well, but don't worry, just keep moving.
Yes, true. Okay. So you guys don't ever worry about, getting English shame or, people will attack you. No, it doesn't matter. Okay,
Mhm.
keep going. And also let's get a little bit into like, the technical of learning languages. And do you think how much the psychology and physiology impacts our language learning?
Oh my God, that question is really hard for me.
Because you're like, you know,
I'm capable of doing so.
no, you're like a languages expert. So
Yeah.
you know how to do it.
I can say I'm a political expert, not a language expert or language. But I'm just happen to learn many language.
Yes.
I don't know about the physical, physiological, or even psychological. It's actually beyond my expertise.
Mhm.
But what I do realize is when I speak Indonesian is I will be trapped whenever I want to express something. I will be trapped with politeness. Like you need to choose the right word. Even in English, you still need to choose the right word. But it's whenever I talk with my parents back home, I always use English. Because if I use Indonesian to express something, I feel like there is a boundary. Like, sorry, when I speak Indonesian, and I have to be very polite to express things, and I'm afraid that I am not brave enough even to use Indonesian language. But when I use English, it will be better for me to express things with my parents. And it's very interesting because, you know, when you learn another language, not only English, but also other language, you will come to their thinking, you know, the way of thinking. So it's in a polyglot community in Jakarta, back in Jakarta, you know, there are people who learn German, there are people who learn Spanish, there are people who learn Arabic, and so on. You can see that language already affected their behavior because those who learn German are very punctual, very how you call it, organized. But those who speak Spanish spend their time talking, which actually you can relate, because in Spanish culture there is something called sobremesa. So after you finish your dinner, you're not going out from the table. You didn't get up. You just stay on the table, talk, sing. That's actually what they do, and it's happened with the Spanish speakers in the polyglot community. We love to have fun more rather than becoming punctual sometimes.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Yeah, that's the difference. And it's pretty much a lot of people say that whenever you want to gossip in Spanish, because it sounds harder when you use Spanish words instead of English words. The gossip will be harder actually in Spanish. That's what people say.
Okay, like, can you tell me more about it? Like, because I don't speak Spanish, so which one, like, what makes it harder?
I think the intonation also pays attention. Like, for example, if in English you want to talk about someone, this is not a good example because it's a gossiping. It's not a good example, but it's actually happening. So when you talk about someone in English, it will be like very slow, like, oh, do you know that this person? But in Spanish, it would be like, you can just talk it like, tú sabes que en esta persona, and then it was like so hot, like the gossip is like flaming, you know, like, tú sabes que en este momento es escándalo, muy escándalo, tú sabes, muy escándalo por eso. So that's for example the how the intonation is going whenever you talk about the gossip. So yeah, the gossiping in Spanish is harder, and it's actually the same thing. I somehow get the impression that if you talk academic things in Arabic, it will be more academic sounded than when you speak in Indonesian. So when you hear Arabic, especially Fusha. So Arabic, there are standard Arabic, which is called Fusha, and there is like Amiya, which actually Arabic language that's used every day. And whenever you watch a TV show with Fusha language, it will sound that it's very academic for you to. But if it's only if you speak Arabic, say if you speak Arabic, Fusha will be so academic. Whenever there is an ustad came from Arab world and then give their teaching. If it's translated into Indonesia, standard Indonesian, it won't be the same as whenever you learn Arabic, understand it, and listen to this person. The sense will be different. Yeah, it will be more academic. For me, it will be sound so religious not preaching, religious studies on TV or something, it will sound very academic rather than you translate it into Indonesian.
Okay, thank you, Mas Tama. I had a blast talking to you. And it looks like everyone is here, so let's get into the next agenda. And that is group presentation. So each member, like the representative from each group, so they will speak up for 3 minutes. So I would like to call the first group, okay? So over to the facilitator. The first group.
All right. The first group will be represented by Mr. Lalu Shamaizar, or Mas Izar. He's one of Mr. Uta's student.
Yes, he's my student.
Hello, sir. Glad to have you back.
Oh, I
Okay.
see you again.
Okay, you got 3 minutes.
Okay, so to recap, what was we talking about in the first group? We talked about. First of all, the facilitator gave us some statements, and then asked how do we feel about that statements, and then we have to give our opinion. For example, some of the question we're asking about, can we like learn a language like without the help of other people? I mean, like real person. And then some of us we actually have a diverse opinion on that. Some people were having an opinion like we don't need other people, like we can learn by ourselves through like the internet, and then we have like now the application like Duolingo or something. And some of us were like we're saying that what's the point of learning a language if there's no one to talk to? That's how diverse our conversation is. And then I think in the middle we kind of switch up the questions, and then the facilitator asked us about some question how many languages can we speak, and then what's the most fun part of learning a language, what's the most not fun part of learning a language. And then we actually, well, most of us, I think we can agree on what's the most fun of learning a language is when we speak it, when we pronounce something, applying the language in our daily life. That's was the very fun part of it, when it comes to the not fun part, I think we can also agree that grammar is basically the hardest thing to achieve. I mean, we can actually conversate with anybody with a language that we're learning, but it doesn't mean that we speak the grammar correctly. It doesn't mean that it's grammatically correct. Grammar was being the most hardest part of learning a language. And then what's more, I think we also talked about what's the most difficult language to learn. Some of us answered Arabic. Some of us answered I think a language that doesn't use the alphabet is actually the hardest language to acquire, to learn. Will I agree on that? If it doesn't use the alphabet, how can we learn? Well, but I think one of the most the great thing that we talked about with our facilitator is that he asked us whether a language could be not with our like mother tongue. So we kind of answer like it should be teach with our mother tongue since we doesn't have any single idea about the language. And then he kind of asked us, so what language did your mother tongue did your teach you your mother tongue? Like it kind of made me think, oh yeah, we don't have any language for that. Kind of learn from it. Well, I think that's it. I think I've exceeded my time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lalu. Thank you so much. Okay, let's move on to the next group, the second group. So over to the facilitator.
Okay, so it's my group actually. So first of all, I just want to say that I haven't had a proper goodbye. So sorry for that. But anyway, thank you so much for your active participation during my FGD session. And then if I can choose one participant from my group to be a representative, it would be Mr. Firdan Fadlan. It looks like you're ready, right, Mr. Fadlan?
Thanks for the time, Miss Amalia, as my facilitator. My name is Fadlan. I will be a representative from my second group. We already discussed about interesting topic about learning new language, and some of us have the different language what we say passion, and some of us have learned about like Germany, Korean, Turkish, Arabic, etc. That show that learning new language is quite fascinating. And then we discuss about language barrier, especially according to learn new language. And some of us answered that language barrier or the most difficult things to learn is in grammar or speaking, and very different, depend on the personality or the environment or the big background when he or she learn English. But in this different reason about the most difficult things to learn language, our facilitator has a deep reason or a deep answer that the most difficult things to learn language is not of them, not speaking, not grammar, not reading, not all, but it's all about our commitment and our hobby and our desire to learn new language. If we have the strong commitment to learn new language, we will pass every language barrier. I think that's all for my group. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Firdan. Thank you so much. And then let's move on to the next group, and that is group 3. So it's going to be represented by Miss Arnindia Arum.
Okay. Okay, thank you for the time. I'm Arum. I will present it that what our group talk about with Miss Tini as our facilitator. Okay, learning language. Our group said that it depends on the person, but if our result is if you started it with love, actually we can get speak in English easily. Actually, I love to learn other foreign language, and I think it's better if we can practice it regularly. Okay, and a language should be taught all the time in that language because it to make it the perfect and speak more fluently to get the best pronunciation and to keep it good, we can join English community like SpeakUp like this, because we will trigger if our partner or our friends speak fluently. And don't ever forget that we have the mother language that is Bahasa Indonesia. And then what about learn English by ourselves? I think it's possible if we want to learn a foreign language by ourselves, because we can solve it with, if we find difficulties, we can solve it with surfing internet, join community, check dictionary, and etc. But it will be perfect if we can get 5 partner to discuss it together. And then in our group, my friends learn foreign language as Mandarin, Korean, Germany, and Arabic. Uh, all some my friends said that Mandarin is the most difficult language to learn, because the letter is very different to pronounce with the, what is that? Yeah, with the words. And also Arabic. I don't know why. Maybe because it's complicated. Maybe. Okay, I think that's the result of our discussion in our group. Thank you, Mr. Yuga.
Okay, thank you, Miss Arindia. Thank you so much. Okay, now let's move on to the next group, and that is the group number 4. Over to the facilitator. Okay, number 4.
Group our ambassador for group 4 is Mas Arik M. Zulfikar.
Thank you, Ms. Gangkas, for the time. Hello, I'm from Group 4. For recap, Ms. Gangkas, as our facilitator, has asked the first question is, learning new language is easy, and our group has different answers. It depends on the situation or environment. If we have no environment which support us for learning, it's difficult. But when we surrounded by people with same vision, which is support us learning new language, I think it could be less difficult, or it could be much easier, because we have people with same vision, which is learning the language. Then the second question is, learning language should be taught frequently, and we all agree, because learning it repeatedly makes us more practice, and practice makes perfect, right? So we all agree with that question. And the last question is, can we learn new language alone by ourselves? And our group has different answer. It depends on the person or the situation. Some of people are more comfortable to practice with alone by himself, with platform or application or language application, and some people still need learning with other, like taking course or need a partner for learn new language together. I guess that's all the recap for
Okay, thank you, Mr. Arik. Thank you so much. Okay, now it's time for group number 5. So over to facilitator, group number 5.
Okay, so room number 5, since we only have one person, which is Miss Ariani, so she will represent room 5. Yeah. So Miss Ariani.
Thank you, Miss Indah. Thank you. First of all, I would like to present my discussion. Maybe we only discussion because only me in room 5. So we chit chat with Miss Binda about some items. Miss Binda asked to me how about learning English. Actually, maybe in this talk, in the speaking communication, all this one, because I'm lecturer in chemical engineering department, and why I interested in this community, because I want to improve my English actually for my jobs, because sometimes my department want to ask me to join the international seminar. I sometimes I feel shaky about that. So I try to join this community. Hope I can improve my English. And about learning English, because it's now maybe I feel slower loading to learn English, and I feel sometimes feel easy to learn English, but sometimes difficult for me. I feel easy when I can focus to read journal, maybe book, and can speak slow, but my partner communication can understand what I say. But difficult when I in busy time, so I cannot maybe improve my English when I listen a song, when I watch the movie. I cannot understand what I see, what I. But sometimes when I join international conference, some speakers, some presenter, I can understand what they present. So I feel that difficult in that point. So I think I have to improve my English, and maybe I think study is not a limitation for the age. So I try to learn English more and more. About the lesson that I said, when I can understand what people said, then people can understand what I said. It the point pleasant that I feel. But the unpleasant thing is when I can understand and when people then don't understand what I said, that I feel sad for that. And how to better, Miss Winda and I discussed that for better keep English, our English is practiced regularly, maybe from podcast, English podcast, English YouTube, maybe English song that sometimes for that maybe for listening, and for grammar structure we can read some books about grammar structure. Then for listening, for maybe reading, because I feel that I have to understand more technical English for my writing. So I have to read more journal, more English textbooks like that. So I think I have to have more motivation to keep my
I'm so
English.
sorry, Miss Ariani. Your time is up.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, that's all about the group presentation. So now let's move on to the next agenda, and that is Q&A. So I'm opening 3 questions. So you guys have to raise your hand, and I will pick 3. Oh, we get the first, the first one. Okay, Mr. Aldiga Denza, please ask your question.
Okay, thank you, Mas Yuka. First of all, I'd like to say hello to all the SpeakUp team. Hi, guys. How are you? Hope you're fine. Yeah. And hello, Mas Tama. My name is Denza. It was amazing presentation that you have shared with us.
Thank you.
And it is always interesting talking about Polyglot. And I have several questions about it. So hopefully that you can help us about it. So first, in your experience, how do you manage time for learning languages? I mean, is it better to learn one language after the other, or can we do at the same time? That's the first question. And my second question, how do you have any advice or any suggestions for us to stay dedicated to language learning? I think that's all, and thank you.
Okay, thank you. So should I answer it directly? Okay, right. So thank you for the question. And for the first question, learning language one by one, or how? So in my experience is unique So I learn a language, and then when I get bored, I learn a new language. But then when I get bored with that second language, I return to the first language that I learned, but I just continue it. So that's actually the way I learn Spanish and Arabic, like back and forth. So Spanish and then Arabic and then Spanish. But there are also languages that I stopped learning because I think in my age now, it's hard to start a language with a new grammar and new vocabularies. So then, for example, like German, I tried to start learning German, but then it's hard because it feels like I need to learn new vocabularies. Well, if I speak French, learn French, I feel like I'm not learning new vocabularies because 2/3 of English vocabulary is coming from French. And because of the knowledge of Spanish, I could understand better the grammar already. So French would be easy for me because of that. Yeah, so that's actually learning language one by one. Theoretically, people say learn one by one, but for my experience, sometimes I get bored with one, then I move to another two, then I will return when I get bored with those two to the first one. And then how to still dedicated with learning language. I found that learning language, you will have three stages. So the first stage is excitement. So excitement is, for example, I'm so excited to learn. For example, when I tried to learn Spanish, so at first I feel so excited. Like I really want to get to know Latin American culture. I really want to speak Spanish. You know, whenever. Even though my Spanish is not that good, but I still try to speak it. So that's the first stage. Second stage is bored. Whenever you begin to be bored with the language learning process, it's actually you're in the transition. Before the last one, the last level is actually you feel like you're so dumb and you don't understand. You actually do understand more things, but you feel like you still need to learn more and more because you think that your competence is not enough. Even though like actually when you're asked by other people, you already like an expert that language, but you will feel like you're still not enough. You still need more vocabulary. It's the same thing like English. I still feel like I'm still need to work on my formal English because it's what I need for education purpose. So in English, I'm in the third stage. In Spanish, actually, I'm almost in the third stage, but I'm still in the board stage. So I don't really touch Spanish learning except for academic journals because I need to read it for Latin American class. So yeah, I think those are my answer, Mas Dinza.
Okay, thank you so much. So I hope that answers your question, Mas Denza. Okay, and then now we have one more question, and that is from Mr. Lalu. So ask your question.
Yeah, thank you. I actually have two questions. The first one, what do you think about learning a language with a certain accent? Will that help you to learn the language? Because I've heard your Spanish and you don't actually pronounce the S. I think it's a certain type of Spanish. And the next one, maybe some of us are learning a language that divides, how to pronounce feminine things and then male and female things. They like German and Spanish and all the Latin language. We Indonesians don't really, we don't think it that way. And well, how do you think we can like we can, how do you say, we can accomplish a challenge, I think. What's your opinion, sir? Thank you.
Okay, a very interesting question, Lalu. Okay, so first, the first question. Sorry, perhaps I will go to the second question first about male and female thing. Some language do have genders, but Europeans mostly have two, but some have three, like German. Sometimes the way to memorize it, if you try to learn Spanish, it will be easier because the ending will be O for male and A for female. But for some words, it's not like that. For example, tema is a male, so it's el tema. Or language idioma is el idioma, is the language is male. But it's actually easy. You can find that there. But unfortunately, for languages like German, that you cannot really see whether this word is masculine or feminine, then you have to memorize it. Some people learn German by actually memorizing the word and the article. So whether it's die, der, or das. So for example, when you learn, oh, girl, I forget the word for girl in German, but it's the word for girl in German is a masculine word. So it's actually der. That's something that you need to learn. Okay, for the first question. I'm sorry, could you please repeat the first question, Lalu?
Yeah, does learning a language with an accent could help you learn that language easier? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So basically sometimes, actually whenever you start to learn a new language, try to use the most neutral accent. Like when you learn English, whether you want to learn it British or American, because those are the most neutral, I can say. If you learn Australian, there will be like certain sounds that different. But of course, sometimes it's due to the accent change is due to what you're doing. Whether you watch certain TV series, then it can actually affect your accent. So I think I used to have a British accent because I used to watch first is Game of Thrones and then Downton Abbey. That's why then my accent was so British at the time. But today I don't watch them anymore. I watch more American TV series. That's why I speak more American. So it actually doesn't matter as long as people can still understand you when you're speaking. And for me, the Cuban Spanish that I have is during the breakout session. Actually, I've already questioned by Yoga. So my Cuban Spanish actually I got because my father really loved Cuban culture. So Cuban musicians, such as like old Cuban musicians like Celia Cruz or Gloria Estefan. It was long ago. Or even like Estrella Cesar Antonio, Buena Vista. And I also exposed with Cuban political figures, Fidel Castro. So that's why actually my accent is more to Cuban accent. But thankfully that this Cuban accent is still understandable by Spanish speakers. So it has no problem. But here, I learned Spanish by myself. So which means that I don't have a teacher or a counterpart, but I do have Cuban counterparts. So I got another Cuban person that became my speaking partner up to today. So that's why my Spanish is getting more Cuban instead of getting more neutral like Mexican or Colombian. But it's okay if you just start learning Spanish. Try to use the proper accent. That's actually my note, because this proper accent. What I like is Latin American accent, because Latin American pronunciation is very close with Indonesian phonology. So you almost don't, I don't think that you learn a new sound, new phonology, because this phonology is very similar between Latin American Spanish and Indonesian. So just use that as the beginning. And whenever you start to explore cultural things, then you will find this, I think that the Mexican Spanish is easier because of the pronunciation is really clear. Then you start to watch Mexican dramas or Mexican TV series. Then your Spanish getting more Mexican. So yeah, that's a thing. So yeah, my Cuban Spanish, I got a background why I speak a Cuban or español guano, but it's it's a different story. If you learn it formally, just learn through the with the neutral. There is no neutral accent in Spanish. It's a discussion, so there is no acento neutro in Spanish, because like every country has their own accent. But those countries that read almost every, I think they always read every single letter, are Mexican and Cuban, and not Cuban, Colombian. So you can go with both accents, and it's really close with Indonesian pronunciation. Yeah, perhaps that. I hope it answers.
Okay, yeah, I hope it explains it. Okay, thank you, Mas Tama, for answering those questions actually. Okay, now for your information, so I want you guys to promise me that you will fill out a feedback form, which we will send it later to your WhatsApp group. Okay, so later we will send a feedback form and you have to fill that out. Okay, promise me you will fill that out. Okay, yes. And then the next one, I would like to announce the luckiest members who will receive the vouchers. Okay, so we will give away 2 vouchers actually, and each voucher is worth 150K discount to all of the English courses at Cilacs UEE, and it's for the regular classes. So I will share the voucher, the e-voucher. Yes, so can you guys see it? Okay, like what I said before, each voucher is worth 150K discount for all of the programs at Cilacs UEE for regular classes or English classes, okay? And then I would like to announce the luckiest members who will receive the vouchers. Okay, first of all, would you please make a drum roll or something? Like that. Okay. Okay, the first lucky member is going to be Miss Aryani Zulkarnia. Yay, give a round of applause, you guys.
Congratulations. Woohoo!
Yay. Okay, congrats to Miss Aryani. I was gonna say like Ariana. Okay, it's Aryani. Okay, Miss Aryani Zulkarnia. So congratulations, you got a voucher. And then let's move on to the next, or the second luckiest member of tonight's event is gonna be, drum roll, please. Okay, thank you for making that sound. Mr. Firdan Fadlan, congrats.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Miss Yuga.
Okay, okay, thank you. Well, Miss Amelia, chill because you didn't win, okay?
I'm so sorry.
Okay, chill. No, it's okay, it's cute. Okay, So congratulations, you guys, for those who had the vouchers. And, our staff will contact you for more further information about the e-voucher. Okay, next on, I would like to share the today's pick for tonight. Okay, wait, let me see. Okay, so this is the today's pick. No, it's not a voucher. Okay, wait. Okay, the today's pick is being able to speak another language is like becoming a different person with dissimilar personalities. Okay, so that's the today's topic. And maybe Mastama, would you like to add or you have something to say about the today's topic?
Okay, perhaps it's a closing statement, yeah. About
Yep.
Event. But well, I'm really glad that everyone here are really eager to learn a new language, whether it's because of their job or education or just to increase their own skills. I'm really glad to hear about it. And learn a language is not an overnight process. It will require process of integrity with your own learning process. Like I've said, there are 3 stages of learning language. First is excitement. You're so excited with the language and culture. And then you got this bored stage. And in the bored stage, just keep going, because on this stage, you will enter the last stage, which is actually whenever you already capable, but you always think that you still need to improve and improve and improve all the time. So yes, so never give up on a learning language, because it's a process. Whenever you get bored, what I do actually, I switch to another language when I'm bored with that language. Then I return to the main language that I'm actually learning. So that's actually the way to still keep moving, because learning language is not an overnight process, and just learn it like a baby. Don't force yourself too much to remember vocabularies or understand grammar if it's so hard for you. Just little by little, but make sure that every day there is an improvement. Maybe only that, Yoga, for me. I return it to you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mastama. Yeah, I do agree that practice makes improvement. So you don't have to give up on your dreams or your learning, language learning journey. Okay, so we've come to the end of the show. Thank you so much, Mastama, for being here, and for everyone here, you have come here, and thank you so much for coming and participating in the show. I wish you the best of luck, and until next time, bye. Bye, you guys. 사랑해요.
Bye, everyone.
Bye,
Thank you.
everyone.
See you again
you
in the
all.
next
Thank
event.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. You can leave the Zoom meeting now.
Thank you for coming. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.